I've always said that I'm not a saint, that I am a work in progress, but I will not be held hostage by my past.
Did you know who he was?
Yes, I knew him. I was introduced to him on my 31st birthday by my ex-boyfriend Flavia.
And she introduced me to a lot of people. She made me feel special. She did a lot of things to me.
Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks. How could you attend these freak-offs and you knew that these kids were underage? See, you know, I'm concerned with the adults that was at these parties who, you know, were given, you know, those intoxicating substances against their will, but they had a choice to be at that party.
Thinking about the victims that are still going through this right now with other people who are running to cover their and deleting their social medias. Pink, Megan Fox, Tyra Banks, Steve Harvey.
Say what now? Not Tyra Banks getting into the field and exposing Naomi Campbell for helping Diddy in his traf business by servicing young models to him for freak-offs. Allegedly, Naomi has been out here tricking unsuspecting male and female models into becoming escorts for Diddy with the promise of using her connections to make them famous. Tyra Banks and Naomi Campbell have been beefing for over a decade now, but everyone thought the reason Tyra didn't like Naomi was because they were competing in their modeling career. But now Tyra's coming out to expose everything, and it turns out their beef has to do with Naomi selling off young models from Africa for freak-offs. It's unclear how long Tyra has known about Naomi's dirty affair with Diddy, but clearly it's been a while because they've been beefing for years, and she hasn't let her foot off of Naomi's neck ever since. Naomi's name was dragged into this mess when she got exposed for being in the room and doing absolutely nothing, while Diddy was actively trying to SA Snoop Dogg. Apparently, Diddy had spiked Snoop's drink during an industry party, just like he usually does to all his SA victims. Once Snoop was knocked out and going in and out of consciousness, Diddy started to touch him inappropriately, and the whole time, Naomi was in the room, but she did absolutely nothing to stop him. It wasn't until Snoop's wife barged into the room and dragged Snoop out of there that Diddy stopped what he was doing. If not for her, Diddy would have played with Snoop and probably recorded the whole thing. In fact, just weeks before Diddy's arrest, he celebrated his 54th birthday party and Naomi was there. But once he got arrested, she separated herself by unfollowing him on IG. But of course, this didn't stop people from still looking at her, and it turns out that Diddy isn't Naomi's first rodeo with shady men. Back in 2010, she was dragged into court to testify against the ex-Liberian president, Charles Taylor, after he gifted her blood diamonds during her stay at Nelson Mandela's house in South Africa. Now, for those of you who don't know about Charles Taylor, he was known for having a huge collection of raw diamonds that he got by unaliving, SAing, and cutting the hands and legs of defenseless Sierra Leonean civilians. When Naomi was first asked if she was given any diamonds, she explicitly said no and even stormed out of the interview. But when she was subpoenaed and made to testify in court, she admitted to receiving diamonds from Charles, but this time she crafted a story that absolutely no one believed. She said she was sleeping when two men came knocking on her door in the middle of the night. When she opened it, they gave her a pouch, claiming that it was a gift from Charles to her. She said she was too tired to open the pouch, so she went back to sleep without checking what was in it. However, when she finally opened it, she didn't even know there were diamonds because they looked like dirty little pebbles, and she's only used to seeing refined, clean, shiny diamonds.
You received a diamond from Charles.
I didn't receive a diamond, and I'm not going to speak about that. Thank you very much. And I'm not here for that.
Well, we've been told that you didn't help the prosecution sort of in this very important case.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
But what she told ABC News was a lie. She did receive diamonds from Taylor, as she acknowledged under oath today, describing a bizarre middle-of-the-night scene outside her bedroom.
When I was sleeping, I had a knock at my door, and I opened my door,
and two men were there and gave me a pouch and said, "A gift for you."
Did you ask them who they were?
No, I was extremely tired. When they gave me the pouch, I just put it next to my bed and went back to bed.
What did you think the stones were?
They were kind of dirty looking pebbles. They were dirty, I don't know. When I'm used to seeing diamonds, I'm used to seeing diamonds shiny and in a box, you know. Someone hadn't said they were diamonds, I wouldn't have guessed right away that they were diamonds.
Now, as I said, no one believed Naomi, and this only got worse when her former assistant, Carol White, and actress Mia Farrow, who were both with her on the trip, said Naomi knew exactly where the diamonds were coming from and that she was more than willing to take them. Carol said Naomi was flirting with Charles the entire night and that when the diamonds were given to her, she was very excited and even showed them to her.
Witnesses, including actress and activist Mia Farrow, have given much different testimony. Farrow was there the next morning and says Campbell knew exactly what she had.
She said during the night, some men had knocked at her door, and it was representatives of President Charles Taylor, and that they had given her a huge diamond. And we're like, oh my gosh.
Taylor's representatives asked Campbell about testimony from witnesses, including one who claimed Campbell had been flirting with Taylor, something Campbell denied.
That's not true at all. As I said before, when I'm with Mr. Mandela, and I think everyone in the world feels the same way, my attention and focus is with him.
Naomi was also rumored to be involved with Jeffrey Epstein and allegedly even helped him commit a lot of the crimes he was accused of. In fact, after Jeffrey was arrested, it was revealed that Naomi was allegedly at Epstein's Island too. The feds claimed she took 5 flights aboard the Lolita Express in 2001 and 2003. 2 originated in the U.S. Virgin Islands, where Epstein owned his own island that was known to be a place of debauchery. A couple of flights went to Sao Paulo, Brazil area.
I was introduced to him on my 31st birthday by my ex-boyfriend Flavio. He was always front and center at Victoria's Secret shows.
Did you suspect what he was doing?
No. And what he's done is indefensible. And when I heard of what he'd done, it sickened me to my stomach, just like everybody else. Because I've had my fair share of predators. And thank God that I had good people around me that protected me from this. I mean, right now I stand with the victims. They're scarred for life.
And now, do you remember what I said about people speculating that Naomi was allegedly servicing these girls to Diddy for freak-off toys in exchange for a modeling contract? These rumors got worse when Kenyan influencer Elsa Majimbo exposed Naomi for luring her into her circle and introducing her to multiple wealthy men in an effort to make her get into relationships with these men.
Naomi was coming to Nairobi to do some shopping. She was on holiday, but on a remote place. So she was in Nairobi doing shopping. And I texted her and she told me she's in Nairobi. So I was so excited to meet her. She was the first celebrity I was ever going to meet. Guys, I was through the roof. She texted me, she was like, hey, I'm here. She texted me the location. I went directly. I went with my brother. So my brother and I, we met her, we did some shopping. And as we're shopping, she's like, oh, you know, the plane that's taking us back actually has couple more seats. Do you and your brother want to join us on holiday? Hell yes. So I was like, oh, that would be so lovely. She introduced me to a couple of people in Hollywood, of people she was on vacation with or coming to Nairobi after the vacation. They were staying at the Kempinski. So I went to see them at the Kempinski when the whole thing was over. So I sat down with them, I was talking to one of them, and one of them was like, oh, it's so, like, how did you meet Naomi? And I was like, oh, no, I texted her on Instagram, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, yeah, she told us, like, she made you and she built you and she made your career. And I was like, what? No, that's not what happened. And I was like, you mean like helped me and like promoted me? And she was like, no, like what you have is because of her. And I was like, oh yeah, no, that didn't happen. Time goes by. March 2022. We have jumped into March 2022. I get a phone call. My phone is ringing. Naomi Campbell. Oh, so I pick up. I'm like, hey sis, like how are you? How are you doing? And she's like, Elsa, how dare you? Oh! So I'm in shock, right? I'm in shock. I don't know what's going on. She was like, this is the last time I'm speaking to you. Have a nice life. And she hung up. Which I was like, I was very saddened by the situation, right? But I was like, if that's how she truly feels, because I respect people's space. So I was like, if that's how she truly feels, fine, it's okay. So I let it go. So after that, like a few months, things started going very badly for me. Things started going haywire. And I didn't think it was, I thought it was because of the situation, let me not lie. But I was like, you know, also it can be short. So I was like, let me go. Because also having someone like Naomi Campbell not liking you in the industry is not a good thing. So I went to her, I apologized. I'd already apologized when the situation had happened, but I went and I apologized again and again. I started calling her, I started texting her. And then one day she just texted me and she was like, stop calling me. I have a child to take care of. So after that, I just said, okay, there's nothing I can do about it. I started drinking. That's why I even quit alcohol. I started drinking. I started drinking a lot. Yeah. And then, because I wasn't sure why things were going so wrong and I couldn't put my finger on it. And then a few months later, I met Edward Enifel at a party, and Edward Enifel is one of, oh my goodness, he's one of the people I adore the most. So I was like, oh my goodness, that's Edward, I have to go say hi. So I'm like, hey Edward, I'm such a big fan. And he looks at me, he's like, I know you. And then he said something that made me think the situation with Naomi was causing like some of the trials and tribulations I was currently going.
Now going back to Tyra, the fact that she is putting Naomi on blast for all of this doesn't mean she's innocent, because according to Allie Carter, Tyra is just as guilty as Naomi, and she's only putting Naomi on blast now to save herself. In fact, Allie made a whole video name dropping some of the celebrities who helped Diddy, and Tyra's name was right there on the list. Allie accused Tyra Banks, Megan Fox, and even Steve Harvey of setting themselves up in other countries so that as soon as they get incriminated in the trial, they'll be able to jet off and escape justice because they were also involved in whatever Diddy had going on.
We're not talking about the victims that are still going through the right now with other people who are running to cover and deleting their social medias. Pink, Megan Fox, Tyra Banks, Steve Harvey. Why you running?
Allie bringing up Tyra in this mess was shocking to a lot of people, because the whole time we thought she was one of the good guys and that Naomi was the only bad one who had connections to Diddy. But it turns out she's also involved in this. Apparently, Tyra was also servicing as to Diddy through her popular show, America's Next Top Model. These rumors started going crazy when people did some digging on her and found out that some of the ex-contestants of the show had actually exposed her a while back for brutally mistreating them on the show and even bringing up their past trauma to taunt them into doing things they didn't want to do. The allegations got so bad that Tyra deleted her social accounts and disappeared from the internet for a couple of months, but that still didn't stop people from dragging her. In fact, back in 2006, the popular blog badboyforever.com, which used to report exclusively info about Diddy and the artists of Bad Boy Entertainment, spilled the tea about Diddy showing up to the Tyra Banks show in a helicopter to surprise her. And in exchange, she also gave him a present for his twin daughters who were still yet to be born at the time. The article read, Sean Diddy Combs has given a new meaning to the word excess. The rapper recently arrived for an appearance on the Tyra Banks show in a helicopter. Awaiting him on the landing pad was a red carpet, a couple of strategically placed butlers, tons of screaming female fans, and last but not least, a microphone. But Diddy isn't the only one with an extravagant flair. Host Tyra Banks gave the artist a special gift for his unborn twin daughters, a double stroller complete with built-in speakers and mobile phone attachments. Apparently, the reason Diddy went all out for Tyra was because she was one of his escort suppliers, and we all know Diddy treats his partners really well, especially the ones who make it easy for him to do the nasty things he used to do. Just like the time he flew all the way to London with Young Miami to surprise Naomi with a a cake for getting her PhD? Ali claims that these unsuspecting models that were forced into these freak-offs, especially the men, had an even harder time. Ali claims that if any of these men getting bent over ended up pooping, they would make them lay in it because some of these industry men have fetishes.
Watching an episode called Pig Night, when I went, they tried to feed us, and I remember it because when
Pig
you
Night.
have to do
Say what?
orders, jobs like that, you don't eat. You're not allowed to eat. You actually have to like starve yourself, because when you have to do those type of jobs, you can't eat because you will throw up.
Really?
If you are doing, or if you are a guy doing sex, you will shit everywhere.
Oh boy.
When this happens, your pimps will get mad at you. Really mad at you. And if that is a fetish for someone, they use that to their advantage. So if you throw up on someone, you will have to eat it. If you on someone, you will have to lay in it.
Now it's unclear if Naomi or Tyra will be called to the stand, but baby, it's a lot going on and Naomi might be way more involved than we thought. As usual, people had their own thoughts, like this person who said Naomi knew exactly what was happening with both Epstein, Diddy, and co. She was recently found guilty and removed from her own charity in the UK because the figures were not adding up. Another person said, what a pathological liar. Evil demon that should be in prison. Why is she allowed to continue her disgusting ways and not held accountable? But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of Naomi getting exposed for being involved in Diddy's mess? And do y'all think Tyra is also involved too and just now trying to cover her tracks? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.